Somewhere in the vast expanse of the cosmos lies a world shrouded in mystery, a planet where survival itself becomes an impossible challenge. When a distress signal pierces through the void, calling for help from this deadly realm, a team of intrepid explorers must face their greatest fears. But what awaits them on the surface is far more sinister than they could ever imagine. From monstrous creatures to environmental hazards that defy comprehension, every step deeper into the abyss brings them closer to salvation or doom. Will they succeed in saving those who are lost, or will they become victims themselves? Prepare to embark on a journey filled with suspense, terror, and hope as we unravel the story of Deadly Rescue, Surviving the Abyss of Terror. Subscribe now to ensure you don't miss a single moment of this thrilling adventure across the stars. The starship Aegis drifted silently against the backdrop of infinite blackness, its sleek metallic hull reflecting faint pinpricks of distant suns. For weeks, it had been traversing the uncharted sectors of the galaxy, charting celestial phenomena and conducting routine scans for signs of intelligent life. It was during one such scan that the anomaly appeared, a weak yet unmistakable transmission emanating from a remote corner of space. The signal pulsed erratically, carrying fragments of garbled words interspersed with bursts of static. Despite its fragmented nature, the message conveyed urgency. Help, danger, cannot escape. Captain Miles reviewed the data alongside his crew, his brow furrowed with concern. The origin of the signal traced back to Arinder 7, a planet notorious among interstellar cartographers for its treacherous environment. Its surface teemed with aggressive ecosystems, home to predators evolved over millennia to dominate even the most inhospitable terrains. Few expeditions had ventured there, and fewer still returned intact. Yet duty demanded action. If lives hung in the balance, abandoning them to their fate was unthinkable. With resolve hardening within him, Captain Miles ordered the ship's course adjusted toward the perilous destination ahead. As preparations began aboard the vessel, tension rippled quietly through the corridors. Each member of the crew understood the risks involved. None dared voice their apprehensions aloud. They were professionals, trained for scenarios like this, yet no amount of training could fully prepare them for what might lie beyond the threshold of Arinder 7's atmosphere. Supplies were checked, equipment calibrated, and contingency plans formulated, all under the watchful eyes of Commander Leora, whose meticulous nature ensured nothing would be left to chance. She moved between stations with purpose, her movements precise and deliberate, radiating confidence even as doubt gnawed at the edges of her mind. Meanwhile, Dr. Elias worked tirelessly in the medical bay, reviewing case files of past missions involving hostile environments. His research focused not only on physical injuries but also psychological impacts, knowing full well how easily fear could erode rational thought. He prepared doses of sedatives and stimulants, packing them neatly into compact kits designed for field use. Every vial represented a lifeline, a potential reprieve from chaos should things spiral out of control. As he sealed the last container, his gaze lingered momentarily on the viewport outside, where the swirling nebulae hinted at mysteries waiting to be unraveled or horrors best left undisturbed. In engineering, Chief Varnick double-checked the integrity of the ship's systems, ensuring redundancies were in place should any component fail upon entering Arinder 7's volatile airspace. His hands danced deftly over consoles, inputting commands and monitoring outputs with practiced ease. Though outwardly calm, his thoughts churned with possibilities both practical and dire. What if the engines faltered amidst storms of radiation? What if the hull breached under pressure unseen until too late? Such questions haunted him, though he pushed them aside, focusing instead on the task at hand. Survival depended on preparation, and preparation meant leaving no stone unturned. Hours passed as the Aegis hurtled ever closer to its target. The once distant glimmer of Arinder 7 grew steadily larger, revealing details obscured by distance. Jagged mountain ranges rose sharply from plains of obsidian-like rock, their peaks wreathed in perpetual mist. Rivers of molten lava carved paths through valleys, casting an eerie orange glow across the landscape. Above it all loomed thick clouds tinged with hues of green and purple, hinting at chemical compositions alien to human understanding. Sensors detected trace elements suggestive of biological activity that thrived despite conditions deemed lethal elsewhere. It was here, amidst this tableau of desolation and vitality intertwined, that the true test awaited. Not merely a mission to save others, but a trial of courage, ingenuity, and resilience. For each crew member aboard the Aegis, the stakes were clear. Failure meant death, not just for those stranded below, but potentially for everyone involved. And so, with hearts pounding and minds racing, they braced themselves for descent, knowing full well that once committed, retreat would no longer remain an option. The descent into Arinder 7's atmosphere proved harrowing from the outset. Turbulence rocked the Aegis violently as it pierced through layers of dense cloud cover, buffeted by winds strong enough to shear lesser vessels apart. Lightning forked wildly around them, illuminating flashes of shadowy silhouettes darting between storm fronts. These shapes moved with unnatural speed, their forms indistinct yet undeniably alive. Were they mere projections of imagination fueled by adrenaline? Or did something truly dwell within these tempestuous skies? Captain Miles gripped the controls tightly, his knuckles white beneath gloves slick with sweat. Beside him, Navigator Rhea monitored altitude readings and plotted trajectories, her fingers flying across holographic displays. Her voice remained steady despite the chaos surrounding them, relaying coordinates and adjustments needed to maintain stability. Together, they navigated the maelstrom, fighting against forces intent on tearing them apart. Below, the ground rushed upward, a mosaic of jagged terrain bathed in dim twilight cast by twin moons hanging low on the horizon. Strange vegetation dominated the view, towering stalks crowned with luminescent blooms swayed gently, pulsating rhythmically as if breathing. Between them sprawled patches of viscous liquid pools, their surfaces shimmering iridescently under faint starlight. Movement rippled beneath these liquids, suggesting unseen entities lurking just out of sight. Touchdown came abruptly, jarring everyone aboard as landing struts deployed and stabilized the craft. Dust kicked up in great plumes before settling slowly, revealing a barren clearing surrounded by towering cliffs. Here, amidst relative safety afforded by open space, the crew disembarked cautiously, weapons drawn and scanners active. Immediate surroundings seemed devoid of immediate threats, though ambient sounds carried ominous undertones, clicks and whistles echoing off stone walls, growing louder then fading without discernible pattern. Dr. Elias scanned preliminary atmospheric readings, confirming breathable air albeit tainted slightly by unknown compounds. Masks remained mandatory precautions nonetheless. Behind him, Engineer Varnick secured perimeter defenses, deploying automated turrets programmed to detect motion and respond accordingly. Their hum added another layer of noise to the already cacophonous symphony playing out around them. Commander Leora took point, leading the way towards coordinates triangulated from the distress signal. Her pace quickened imperceptibly, driven by urgency tempered with caution honed through years of experience. She signaled periodically, directing teammates to check blind spots or investigate anomalies flagged by handheld devices. Each step forward felt heavier than the last, weighed down by anticipation of what might emerge from hiding. Distance markers ticked away steadily until finally reaching the source location, an isolated structure partially buried beneath encroaching flora. Constructed from materials unfamiliar yet clearly artificial. It bore signs of recent occupation, marred now by decay. Windows darkened by grime stared blankly outward. Windowsills crusted with crystalline deposits formed over time. Doors hung ajar, creaking softly whenever gusts swept past. Inside lay remnants of habitation, furniture overturned, supplies scattered haphazardly. Scorch marks streaked walls, evidence of conflicts fought hastily and desperately. Personal belongings littered floors, datapads displaying frozen messages, photographs capturing moments frozen forever. Amidst ruins stood testament to lives interrupted brutally, survivors forced to flee into wilderness beyond sanctuary offered by shelter. Exploration revealed little else concrete regarding current whereabouts of missing personnel. However, clues hinted strongly at direction taken. Tracks leading away from settlement towards denser thickets marked by trails broken recently. Footprints overlapped chaotically, betraying panic underlying departure. Pursuing these traces became next logical step, though doing so required venturing deeper into heartland claimed wholly by Arinder 7's merciless ecosystem. Decision made collectively, group pressed onward, leaving behind temporary refuge provided by ruined outposts. Ahead stretched wilderness untamed, promising answers sought after alongside perils unimaginable. Courage bolstered resolve wavering briefly before solidifying anew. No turning back existed anymore, not when truth waited hidden somewhere amidst shadows dancing macabrely beneath moonlit canopy stretching endlessly skyward. The journey into the dense wilderness of Arinder 7 began with an uneasy silence. The crew moved cautiously, their boots sinking slightly into the soft, spongy ground beneath layers of bioluminescent moss. Every step seemed to echo unnaturally, as though the planet itself was listening. Strange flora loomed overhead, twisting vines adorned with sharp thorns that glinted menacingly under the dim light of the moons. Occasionally, one of these plants would twitch or retract its tendrils, revealing a predatory instinct hidden behind its passive appearance. Dr. Elias paused frequently to collect samples, his scanner emitting soft beeps as it analyzed the chemical composition of nearby organisms. He noted how many species appeared to thrive symbiotically, yet others exhibited aggressive behaviors when disturbed. A sudden rustle in the underbrush startled him, and he turned sharply, only to find nothing but shadows retreating deeper into the foliage. His pulse quickened, though he forced himself to remain calm. Fear, he knew, could cloud judgment, and clarity was essential for survival here. Ahead, Commander Leora led the group with unwavering determination, her eyes scanning both the path ahead and the dense thickets flanking them. She had marked several potential ambush points based on terrain analysis, ensuring turrets were strategically placed at intervals along their route. Each device hummed softly, ready to unleash a hail of plasma bolts should anything hostile approach. Despite these precautions, unease lingered within her, a gnawing sensation that they were being watched. Navigator Rhea brought up the rear, constantly updating their position on the holographic map projected from her wrist console. Her voice occasionally broke the silence as she relayed updates about proximity to the distress signal's origin. The coordinates pointed toward a canyon system carved by ancient rivers of molten lava, now cooled into jagged obsidian formations. It was there, according to her calculations, that the survivors might still be hiding or trapped. As they ventured further, the air grew heavier, tinged with an acrid scent reminiscent of burnt metal. Breathing became labored even through filtered masks, prompting Dr. Elias to administer mild stimulants to counteract fatigue. The oppressive atmosphere weighed not just physically but mentally, eroding morale incrementally. Yet none dared voice their doubts aloud. Instead, they pressed forward, driven by duty and the faint hope of rescue. Reaching the edge of the canyon proved both a relief and a new challenge. Below stretched a labyrinthine network of narrow paths winding between towering cliffs of black glass. Faint phosphorescent veins ran through the rock, casting an otherworldly glow that illuminated patches of the descent. Movement flickered intermittently in the depths, small creatures scuttling across ledges or leaping between outcrops. Their chittering calls echoed eerily, blending with the distant rumble of shifting earth. Chief Varnick inspected the stability of the cliffside before signaling the team to proceed. His expertise ensured safe passage down treacherous slopes, though each step required careful calculation. Loose fragments of obsidian crumbled underfoot, tumbling into the abyss below with sharp cracks. The sound reverberated hauntingly, amplifying the sense of isolation. Progress was slow but steady, with everyone acutely aware of the fragility of their footing. Midway down, a low growl rumbled through the canyon, causing the crew to freeze. From the shadows emerged a pack of canine-like creatures, their sleek bodies covered in iridescent scales that shimmered like oil slicks. Eyes glowing with unnatural intelligence locked onto the intruders, assessing threat levels before deciding whether to attack. Tension mounted as weapons were raised, fingers hovering over triggers. For what felt like an eternity, neither side moved, locked in a silent standoff. Finally, the creatures retreated, melting back into the darkness from which they came. Exhales of relief rippled through the group, though adrenaline continued to course through their veins. This encounter served as a stark reminder. Erinder, 7 harbored dangers far beyond human comprehension. Survival depended not solely on firepower, but also on understanding and respecting the alien ecosystem surrounding them. At the canyon floor, the environment shifted dramatically. Pools of viscous liquid dotted the landscape, bubbling gently as if alive. Strange gas bubbles rose to the surface, releasing faintly sweet odors that made heads swim momentarily. Dr. Elias warned against prolonged exposure, citing potential neurotoxic effects. Masks remained sealed tightly, filters adjusted to neutralize contaminants. A metallic structure jutted partially from the ground nearby, an abandoned research station swallowed by time and nature. Its corroded exterior bore scars of past conflicts, while broken windows stared blankly like hollow eyes. Inside, evidence of hasty evacuation lay scattered. Overturned desks, shattered equipment, and bloodstains darkened floors. Scorch marks suggested desperate attempts to fend off attackers, though no bodies remained. Only silence greeted the explorers, heavy with unanswered questions. Commander Leora discovered a terminal still partially functional, its screen flickering weakly. Fragments of logs detailed experiments conducted on local wildlife, warning of unexpected aggression triggered by environmental stressors. One entry stood out: they adapt too quickly. We underestimated them. The chilling words hinted at catastrophic failure, likely responsible for the current state of ruin. As they prepared to leave, a faint vibration shook the ground. Rocks tumbled from above, narrowly missing the crew. Panic surged briefly before subsiding as realization dawned. It wasn't seismic activity, but something larger moving closer. Whatever hunted in these depths had taken notice of their presence. Retreating hastily, the team followed the canyon's winding paths, pursued by an unseen predator. Its movements caused tremors that sent debris cascading around them, forcing detours through increasingly narrow passages. Shadows danced erratically on walls, elongated by the faint glow of phosphorescent veins. Each corner turned heightened anticipation, every sound magnified tenfold in the claustrophobic confines. Chief Varnick took charge, using portable scanners to locate alternative routes. His calm demeanor steadied nerves frayed by relentless pursuit. Behind him, Navigator Rhea coordinated efforts to maintain cohesion, ensuring no one lagged dangerously behind. Communication remained minimal, limited to terse instructions whispered urgently over comms. Suddenly, the chase ended as abruptly as it began. The vibration ceased, replaced by an eerie stillness. The crew halted, weapons trained on the darkness behind them. Minutes passed without incident, tension gradually easing. Had the predator lost interest? Or was this merely a tactical withdrawal? Deciding not to tempt fate, they resumed their advance, doubling efforts to reach the distress signal's source. Time felt distorted, each second stretching interminably. Fatigue gnawed at muscles and minds alike, yet resolve held firm. They couldn't afford hesitation, not when salvation awaited somewhere beyond the next bend. Emerging from the canyon, the crew found themselves in a vast crater dominated by a massive tree-like organism. Its trunk pulsed rhythmically, veins of glowing sap tracing intricate patterns across bark resembling polished stone. Branches extended skyward, tipped with pods that emitted soft, melodic tones. Surrounding it sprawled smaller plants mimicking its design, creating a surreal garden bathed in ethereal light. Dr. Elias approached cautiously, captivated by the organism's complexity. Initial scans revealed properties unlike anything documented, energy signatures suggesting self-sustaining mechanisms powered by geothermal activity. However, fascination gave way to alarm as pods began detaching from branches, floating lazily toward the intruders. Upon contact, they released clouds of fine spores that clung stubbornly to surfaces despite attempts to brush them away. Symptoms manifested rapidly: dizziness, disorientation, hallucinations. Crew members staggered, struggling to distinguish reality from illusion. Commander Leora barked orders to retreat, her voice barely audible over cacophonous ringing in ears. Chaos erupted as coordination faltered, individuals veering off course or collapsing altogether. Amidst confusion, Chief Varnick activated emergency protocols, deploying antidote sprays designed to counteract psychoactive agents. Relief came slowly, sanity clawing its way back from brink of madness. Shaken but intact, the group regrouped outside influence radius of monstrous flora. Lessons learned painfully underscored importance of vigilance. Even beauty concealed lethal intent on Arinder. 7. Pressing onward, the crew encountered remnants of civilization scattered amidst wilderness reclaimed by nature. Ruins hinted at once thriving settlements reduced to rubble, overtaken by aggressive vegetation determined to erase all traces of human interference. Statues toppled, buildings collapsed, all bore testament to hubris punished severely by unforgiving planet. Among ruins, clues emerged pointing toward survivors' possible refuge. Symbols etched crudely onto stones guided navigation, leading toward concealed entrance hidden cleverly within natural rock formation. Door mechanism responded sluggishly to manual override, protesting years' neglected maintenance. Beyond awaited sanctuary offering respite temporary yet invaluable. Interior proved surprisingly intact compared to exterior decay. Power systems functioned minimally, providing dim lighting sufficient to illuminate cramped quarters. Supplies stockpiled carefully indicated preparation thorough, albeit ultimately futile. Personal belongings arranged neatly suggested order maintained until final moment's inevitable collapse. Hope surged briefly upon discovery documents detailing plans relocation deeper underground. Coordinates listed matched closely distress signal origin, confirming suspicions regarding ultimate destination. With renewed purpose, team prepared to part, bolstered knowledge gained thus far crucial navigating challenges lying ahead. Venturing deeper underground introduced fresh trials. Passages narrowed significantly, requiring physical exertion squeezed through tight spaces. Air grew stale, laced unpleasant odors wrought mingled dampness seeping walls. Glow rods deployed illuminated surroundings sparingly, casting eerie shadows dancing unpredictably. Occasional scuttling noises accompanied progress, originating creatures adapted life subterranean environments. As accustomed darkness detected fleeting glimpses shapes darting edges vision range. Weapons drawn reflexively, though restraint exercised avoid provoking unknown entities potentially harmless or deadly. Progress slowed considerably navigating maze-like tunnels, twisting unpredictably directions seemingly random. Navigator RIA relied heavily mapping software reconstruct accurate layout, ensure return viable option. Stress mounted palpably, compounded claustrophobia setting among members unaccustomed confined spaces prolonged durations. Despite hardships endured collectively, camaraderie strengthened bonds, forged adversity, faced united front. Encouragement exchanged quietly bolstered spirits, flagging exhaustion, mounting insidiously. Determination fueled perseverance, propelling forward relentlessly toward goal salvation, tantalizingly close, yet frustratingly elusive grasp. Emerging suddenly expansive cavern breathtaking proportions rewarded perseverance, preceding struggles endured. Ceilings soared impossibly high, supported stalactites glistening moisture dripping steadily pools below. Central feature dominated attention entirely. A crystalline monolith radiating pulsating light, hypnotic intensity, mesmerizing observers transfixed awe-inspired wonderment, overwhelming senses completely. Approaching cautiously, Dr. Elias initiated comprehensive analysis, attempting to decipher secrets, embedded structure, enigmatic aura exuded. Findings preliminary confirmed energy output, extraordinary magnitude, unprecedented records, known science. Hypothesis formulated posited connection, directly core planet, utilizing resources, sustain operation, continuous, uninterrupted millennia. Simultaneously, Commander Leora identified alcoves carved deliberately, housing artifacts, relics, civilizations long vanished, forgotten annals, history undocumented officially. Examination meticulous, uncovered fragments, technology advanced, hinting collaboration, extraterrestrial origins, speculated, previously dismissed, myth, legend, lacking substantiation, concrete evidence, supporting claims, speculative, wild imagination, fanciful storytelling. Implications profound, realization struck simultaneously, mindsets, diverse backgrounds, unified revelation, shared universally amongst assembled company. Understanding dawned gradually, significance, monumental scale, implications reaching far beyond boundaries, immediate mission parameters assigned initially, embarked journey, perilous, fraught danger, lurking corners, unforeseen. The violent tremor that shook the cavern forced the crew to scatter, narrowly avoiding falling debris. Stalactites crashed to the ground in sharp, crystalline shards, sending up clouds of dust and echoing thunderously through the vast chamber. The monolith at the center pulsed erratically now, its light flickering like a dying star. Dr. Elias hypothesized that the structure was destabilizing, possibly reacting to their presence or some external force beyond their control. Commander Leora barked orders to retreat from the immediate vicinity, her voice cutting through the chaos. The team regrouped near one of the alcoves, sheltered temporarily by the curved rock formations. Breathing heavily, they assessed their situation. The cavern was becoming increasingly unstable, and the monolith's erratic behavior suggested it might be the source or the trigger of the seismic activity. Dr. Elias ran additional scans on the monolith, his hands trembling slightly as he worked. The data revealed alarming fluctuations in energy output, far exceeding safe thresholds. If the structure continued to destabilize, it could collapse the entire cavern, or worse, unleash catastrophic consequences for the planet itself. "We need to shut it down," Dr. Elias said urgently, though his tone betrayed doubt. "If we can figure out how." Chief Varnick stepped forward, examining the base of the monolith where faintly glowing runes etched into the crystal surface pulsed in sync with its rhythm. He recognized patterns similar to those used in advanced engineering systems, but admitted they were unlike anything he'd encountered before. Without proper tools or knowledge, tampering with the mechanism risked accelerating its failure or triggering something even more dangerous. Time was running out. The tremors grew stronger, and cracks began spiderwebbing across the cavern walls. The air thickened with dust, making breathing difficult despite their masks. Commander Leora made a split-second decision. They would attempt to disable the monolith using whatever means available. Failure wasn't an option, not when survival depended on it. Navigator Rhea consulted her map, searching for any clues about the monolith's purpose or design. She cross-referenced the symbols carved into the alcoves with archived records of ancient alien languages. To everyone's surprise, she found partial matches, fragments of text describing devices capable of harnessing planetary energy. The writings warned of dire consequences if such machines malfunctioned. Armed with this information, the crew devised a risky plan. Chief Varnick rigged together a portable EMP device using components scavenged from their equipment. It wouldn't be powerful enough to destroy the monolith outright, but it might disrupt its operations long enough for them to escape. Meanwhile, Dr. Elias prepared medical kits, anticipating potential injuries from the impending collapse. As they approached the monolith again, the ground quaked violently beneath their feet. Rocks tumbled from above, forcing them to dodge constantly. The pulsating light blinded momentarily, disorienting even those wearing protective visors. Despite the danger, they pressed on, knowing retreat meant certain death. Reaching the base of the monolith, Chief Varnick connected the EMP device to one of the glowing panels. His fingers flew over the controls, inputting commands hastily while sweat dripped down his brow. The others formed a defensive perimeter, weapons drawn and senses heightened for signs of approaching threats. Suddenly, a guttural roar echoed through the cavern. From the shadows emerged a massive creature unlike anything they'd seen before. Its body shimmered with iridescent scales, blending seamlessly with the dim light. Multiple eyes glowed ominously, fixed on the intruders with predatory intent. Long, sinewy limbs ended in razor-sharp claws, ready to strike. Commander Leora signaled for silence, hoping not to provoke the beast. But the creature lunged anyway, moving with terrifying speed. Plasma bolts erupted from the turrets, striking the monster repeatedly but failing to slow it down. It swiped at the nearest crew member, sending them sprawling backward. Panic threatened to take hold, but discipline held firm. Chief Varnick shouted, "It's ready," as the EMP device hummed ominously. With no time to spare, he activated it. A blinding flash of energy surged outward, enveloping the monolith and the creature alike. For a moment, everything went silent. When the light faded, the monolith stood dark and inert, its once pulsating glow extinguished completely. The creature lay motionless nearby, its shimmering form reduced to a lifeless husk. The tremor ceased abruptly, leaving behind an eerie stillness. Dust settled slowly, revealing a cavern battered but stable for now. Exhausted but alive, the crew gathered around Chief Varnick, who slumped against the monolith, drained from the effort. Dr. Elias tended to injuries sustained during the attack, administering stimulants and painkillers liberally. Navigator Rhea confirmed their exit route remained intact, though navigating back through the tunnels would require caution due to structural damage. Despite the victory, unease lingered. The monolith's shutdown had saved them, but what consequences awaited? Had they merely delayed disaster, or had they truly averted catastrophe? Questions loomed large, unanswered and perhaps unanswerable. Commander Leora addressed the group, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility she carried. "We've done what we came here to do. Now, let's get out of this hellhole." Her words galvanized the team, reigniting determination to complete their mission and return home. The journey back proved arduous but uneventful compared to the horrors faced earlier. Fatigue weighed heavily on each step, yet adrenaline kept them moving forward. They retraced their path through the canyon, past the bioluminescent flora, and finally reached the landing site where the Aegis awaited. Boarding the ship brought a collective sigh of relief, as engines roared to life and they ascended into orbit. Irinder, 7 receded into the distance, a dark, forbidding sphere swallowed by the void. From above, the planet seemed almost peaceful, hiding its deadly secrets beneath layers of swirling clouds. Back aboard the Aegis, debriefings commenced. Logs were reviewed, samples analyzed, and strategies critiqued. Though physically battered, the crew felt a sense of accomplishment tempered by humility. They had faced the abyss and survived, but not without scars, both visible and invisible. Captain Miles addressed the crew one final time before setting course for home. "Today, you proved that courage and unity can overcome even the most daunting challenges. Remember this mission, not just for what we achieved, but for the lessons learned. We are explorers, pioneers, and sometimes rescuers. Carry that pride with you always. As the stars streaked past the viewport, thoughts turned to the future. What other mysteries awaited among the cosmos? One thing was certain, they would face them together, bound by shared experiences and unwavering resolve. If you enjoyed this pulse-pounding sci-fi thriller filled with danger, discovery, and triumph against all odds, don't miss out on more epic adventures. Subscribe now to stay tuned for our next interstellar journey and dive deeper into the wonders and terrors of the universe.